U.S. Navy destroyers safe from an onslaught of Iranian anti-ship missiles and mosquito boats. Well, this is how the Iranian attack works. The attack opens with a classic swarm tactic. Dozens of small, lightning-fast speedboats converging on the U.S. Navy warship from all directions. The second stage escalates the threat with a coordinated barrage of anti-ship missiles and explosive drones. The core of this tactic is oversaturation. By throwing an overwhelming number of targets at the ship simultaneously, the goal is to overload the destroyer's defense systems in hopes that they will eventually fail to intercept every single threat. So how does a U.S. Navy destroyer actually counter these complex attacks? To handle the surface swarm, the Navy would deploy ship-based MH-60C Hawk helicopters or call in allied Apache gunships to hunt down and neutralize the small boat fleet long before it gets within striking range. During Project Freedom Operation, two Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers, the USS Truxtun and the USS Mason, transited the strait to escort U.S.-flagged merchant ships. In response to the U.S. presence in the blockaded waterway, Iranian forces launched an intense, sustained assault on the naval convoy. But how did this attack happen? The moment the USS Truxtun and USS Mason entered the kill zone, the horizon lit up. Iran didn't just probe the American defenses, they unleashed a synchronized, multi-domain barrage designed to completely overwhelm the destroyers and the merchant ships they were escorting. First came the swarm. The surface of the water churned as Iran's infamous mosquito fleet closed. Dozens of heavily armed fast attack boats aggressively maneuvered to distract, harass, and split the attention of the American crews. Simultaneously, the airspace above the strait filled with incoming threats. Unmanned aerial vehicles saturated the sky, acting as the vanguard for the heavy hitters. But that's not it. It also fired a volley of anti-ship cruise and ballistic missiles fired from the Iranian coastline close to the Iranian Strait of Hormuz, locking onto the convoy. This was an Iranian textbook saturation attack strategy. Throw enough threats from enough directions all at once and hope something slips through the net. But how did the U.S. Navy fight back against these attacks? Deep inside the Truxtun and Mason, the Aegis combat systems went to work. The destroyers engaged the incoming missiles and drones with SM-2 missiles fired from the vertical launchers. These anti-air defense missiles will look on to the incoming P-15 anti-ship missile and hunt down and often use hit-to-kill technology, destroying the target with kinetic energy rather than explosives. But wait, the destroyers weren't fighting alone. Providing close air support, U.S. Army AH-64 Apaches and Navy MH-60 Seahawks dropped in to neutralize the surface threat. Acting as the fleet's eyes and teeth, the helicopters turned their chain guns and Hellfire missiles onto the swarming mosquito fleet. The moment the Iranian boats broke formation and charged the commercial ships, the helicopters dropped in. The Apache and